Hey guys, I am Daisho and I'm here bringing you another Magic draft. This time we're doing Adventures in the Forgotten Realms, which is a Dungeons and Dragons themed set. And right here we're just going to jump right into this pack. So we have a couple of really good cards here. So there's Triumphant Adventurer, which is a black-white rare, and it, as long as it's your turn, it has first strike, and it's always got death touch, so it's kind of hard to block. And then whenever it attacks, you venture into the dungeon. You get some rewards for, you can see one of the dungeons on the right here, but you get some rewards for going through the dungeons, in addition to the actual reward each time you venture into the next phase of the dungeon. There's also Battlecry Goblin, which is one of the best, if not the best, uncommon in the set. I don't really understand how it was just packaged as a 2/2 for 2, but it's really, really strong. Grim Bounty is kind of the standard sorcery speed removal in black, and it's actually really good because it generates a treasure in this time. There's a couple other decent cards. Rust Monster, Choose Your Weapon, I like. Otherwise, this pack is actually kind of weak, so I'm going to grab this Battlecry Goblin and be happy about it. I don't have to go into two colors right away, and it is going to be pretty strong no matter what. Okay, so we actually got past another really strong pack. So my opponent immediately took an uncommon out of this pack over Old Gnawbone, who is a 7/7 flying dragon that basically makes all of your damage turn into treasures as well. Another Grim Bounty is really nice. White Dragon is actually much better than Old Gnawbone, in my opinion. It has a better enter the battlefield effect, and it comes down one mana shorter, which can be up to 2 to 3 turns earlier if you could find it hard to get to 7 mana. I honestly think I'm going to go with Targnar here. I think that if I want to build a red-green deck, I want to be lower to the ground, more aggressive. The other card that I would think of is Grim Bounty, which could be a little bit more flexible if I just pivot into a black deck that's not a red-black deck. But for now, I think it's worth it to just jump right into the red-green deck. This could be some bias because I'm coming off of a 7-win red-green deck, but I do think that red-green is really good in this format. This pack is not as good, so we have some decent cards for a couple of different decks. So there's Rust Monster, which I talked about a little bit, but it's a 2/1 first strike, and you can sacrifice an artifact for it to get +2/+0. There's a lot of just treasures running around, which just sacrifice for mana. So usually there's a little bit of fodder, and it's pretty hard to get through a 2/1 first strike, or a 4/1 first strike. There's also Direwolf Prowler, which is nice in the red-green deck. The red-green deck is trying to get to 6 attack, so if you attack with 6 attack, then you get that going. There's Minimus Containment, which is, I think, what I'm going to take here. It doesn't go well with Targnar, but it could still go nicely with Battlecry Goblin. But this is essentially, it turns their creature into a treasure token, and then from there you can, it doesn't have any of its original abilities. All right, so kind of thrown in a few different directions here. So after we've taken the white card, there's not really a white card that we want to take that goes with our Battlecry Goblin. There's a Celestial Unicorn, which I haven't found to be great. The life gain deck isn't particularly strong in this format, or I haven't found it to be. So I could take another 2-drop in Armory Veteran. I could take a 5-drop in Eltegard Ranger. I think I'm going to grab the Armory Veteran here. It's not really what you want to be doing in red-green, but it is what you want to be doing in red-white. I could also take the Delver's Torch or the Paladin Shield. And then there's a couple of decent blue cards here that if I wanted to try and pivot into blue. If I had taken Old Gnawbone, then I probably would have taken Gretchen right there. Okay, so now things are starting to look up. First of all, Curdle of Baldur's Gate I think is ridiculous. I think that if I was in blue, then if I had just decided to speculate on the Soul Knife Spy in the last card, which is a 3 mana 3/2 that when it damages your opponent you draw a card, then I definitely would take this. I think this is a signal and it's a really good card. I just do think that I have some other strong cards that I don't want to abandon yet. And I'm also given a really strong white card here, 3 mana 2/1 draw a card. So with the Minimus Containment, pick third, Priest of Ancient Lore here, I think I'm happy to start moving into a red-white deck here. And then the fact that I speculated on the Armory Veteran, that gets better in the red-white equipment deck. Okay, so here, probably... I mean, there's a lot of cards. Every card in this pack except for Spare Dagger is actually pretty playable. I think Arborea Pegasus is the best card in the pack. It's a little bit sketchy. It is the best card in the pack, but there's only one white card remaining in the pack, so it might mean that white isn't too open, or it just might mean that this pack started with fewer white cards. Okay, so now we're still seeing some black coming through with Sepulchre Ghoul, Hired Hexblade, Eyes of the Beholder, but none of those cards are really too strong. I don't think that I generally like to play Divine Smite. There's a whole cycle that each one has a decent effect on the front side, and then if you it targets one specific color for the other effect. I don't think Gloomstalker is really what I want to be doing, so I guess, I mean, I could take Divine Smite here, but I think I'm just going to grab this Hired Hexblade in case I see, like, I don't know, the red-black uncommon in the next pack or something like that. Well, this is interesting. I was all set to be on my way to a red-white equipment deck, but now I'm seeing a Null Hunter 7th pick, including, and also a Hill Giant Herdgorger, which isn't bad. So I think I'm going to take this Null Hunter over the Dawnbringer Cleric, and then open myself up to going just into a green-white beatdown deck. I don't have equipment yet, so my white cards can go into any deck at this point, and if green-white is open, then I'll happily play a green-white equipment deck. Okay, so here, this was my original pack. Not too much came back. I'm going to go ahead and take You Find a Cursed Idol. I don't really think that there's anything particularly good here. But the one thing that I have found so far is that red does not seem to be open. My first two picks were red, and then since then I only got a very medium red card. And that was still pretty early. I mean, I picked it 5th or something like that. Alright, I think I'm just going to grab this Shortcut Seeker. I think it's the best card in the pack by a good margin. And if by some miracle Curdle comes back, then maybe I'll just abandon everything and go into into blue-black. Don't love anything here, so I'll just take Wild Shape. I'll take Compelled Duel. Both of them are really mediocre. I haven't actually had to play them in any decks yet. And I probably should grab like Leather Armor in case I end up in the red-white deck, but I'm just going to take Bar the Gate. And now I wish I was in blue-black, because all of those last cards were really strong for blue-black, but it's just I don't have the cards to support it. I don't have the high enough power level cards to support it. Okay, so in this pack, we have probably the best card in the pack being Hunter's Mark, which is, again, part of that cycle of cards that are actually pretty good on the front side, but really, really strong on the back side. This one is better in that a 4 mana for +1/+1 and deals damage to a creature is actually really strong either way. So I think I'm going to go ahead and grab that. I don't think that this Fire Giant is actually that good. 3 toughness on a 5-drop is kind of hard to be okay with. There's a couple of these cards, Sylvan Shepherd, Inspiring Bard, Bull Strength. If I table any of these 3, they'll probably make the deck. I think that they're all pretty solid. So I'm going to go ahead and take Hunter's Mark here. Alright, so now red is starting to come. That's not too surprising since I saw almost no red myself, so my neighbors really saw nothing. So it's a little bit risky for me to just jump into red here and then know that I'm probably not going to get too much in pack 3. But that being said, there's really nothing else in this pack that I would play. In white, I mean, I actually kind of do like your Ambush on the Road, but it's not amazing. So regardless, I do think I'm going to go ahead and grab this Improvised Weaponry. I think it's good in pretty much any red deck. Fireball's also good. Plundering Barbarian's also good. All 3 of them are really solid cards. So any of them would be fine here. But okay. I guess I can continue on that path and go with a Fireball here. Another Pegasus would also probably be solid, but yeah, I think Fireball's the right way to go. The problem with this deck is that I would be fine with going with like red-white, Splash, Targnar, and Hunter's Mark, but you don't want to splash in an aggressive deck, and no matter what, if I'm base red, it's going to be an aggressive deck. So I could just be a little bit more disciplined and go with the Pegasus here, or try and move in on this red. and build a nice red-green deck. Maybe splash the Minimus Containment, which is just a pretty decent card to splash. Again, I don't really want to, but if I get enough treasure, then it can be pretty easy and unobtrusive, I would say, to splash in those kind of decks. All right, so if I was a green-white, I probably would take this because green-white has life gain synergies, and this thing is good without too many. You want some life gain synergies, but you can also just play it as a 3-mana 4/5 blocker. But I'm going to go ahead and grab this Plundering Barbarian and cut the white here, and hope that I get to enough playables. Compelled Duel might end up having to make an appearance, and I think I'm going to keep the Minimus Containment in for now because I just picked up another Treasure Maker, so I definitely could see myself getting there. And maybe I made a mistake because there's another 2 good white cards in here. But again, I really do like Plundering Barbarian. I don't mind Circle of the Moon Druid. I actually do kind of like it in green-red. But I'm going to go ahead and grab a second Plundering Barbarian here. Okay, this is a nice pack for me. Pack 6, still getting playable and like strong playable cards. So Swarming Goblins is really good. It's a 4-power creature that brings a couple of friends along to help you push through the last damage. Inspiring Bard is really nice because you can play it. And so just an example curve, I played Null Hunter on 2 and then Plundering Barbarian on 3, so it doesn't look like I can hit pack tactics. But then if I just drop Inspiring Bard, that gives Null Hunter +2 or one of the things +2/+2, and I can make it. So Inspiring Bard is what I wanted to take there. This pack isn't great for me, but I'm kind of interested in playing You Come to the Null Camp. I've played it a couple times and it's been good in some situations and bad in others. But at the end of the day, it's a combat trick, and then at the very end of the game, you can sort of just get your attackers through. What happened? Okay, I'm just going to hit confirm pick and hope that worked. I don't know if you guys were able to see that. But, all right, Boots of Speed is nice. This card is really impressed me. I played it in my last deck, and it was really, really strong. It just makes it so hard for them to block. And, again, it really just helps give you surprise pack tactics, which is pretty important. Also works really nicely with the Armory Veteran that I have, so that's nice. All right, so for green cards, all 3 of them came back. Let's see what I've got here. In terms of combat tricks, I have You Come to the Null Camp so far, and I don't have anything else. So Bull Strength, I think, is going to be the pick here. I've got a lot of creatures. I think it would be, it would be Inspiring Bard here would be the pick. But 4-drops usually aren't too hard to come by, and I think that Bull Strength is sort of the best of the combat tricks, so I would like to grab that. Take another Plundering Barbarian. I'm not too happy running all of those, but it's not so bad. Don't need dice rolling, though it's sad that I'm not in that deck because that deck is really fun. I don't think I'm going to be playing Death's Whisper in this kind of deck. Alright, so I'm not worried about getting enough playables anymore, which is nice because I really hit a lot of playables towards the end of that. I do want to improve my card quality a bit and maybe get some top end and definitely just get some bigger creatures. So like I would be very happy tabling Eltegard Ranger or Direwolf Prowler out of here, but Goblin Morningstar is a really strong card, so I'm just going to go ahead and grab that here. It works well with my Armory Veteran too, which is nice. Alright, this pack kind of stinks. There's really nothing good for me. I don't have any 1-drops other than these Boots of Speed, which isn't so important, so I think I'm going to go ahead and grab the Evolving Wilds here. I'm probably not going to play a Plains, even if I do end up playing the Minimus Containment. I already have 3 Plundering Barbarians. You find a Cursed Idol might not make the final cut, so I guess if it's only these 3 Barbarians to cast a Minimus Containment, then I think I would be forced to play a Plains, but we'll see. I might not even want to splash it when it comes to the end of the day. Alright, this is actually a pretty tough choice here. Let me just take a look at how many 2-drop creatures I have. 1, 2, 2.5... 3, 4. Wow, that's a lot lighter than I thought I was going to be. Because it's interesting. Null Hunter and Owlbear are both really good. That's what I'm deciding between here. Owlbear is much better, and I don't have a 5-drop, which makes me really want to go that route. But Null Hunter, it's very important in this deck to actually get 2-drop creatures, and I don't have very many, and I'm not expecting to get a lot. So it is a really tough choice. I'm going to go with Owlbear, but I am worried that I'm making the wrong choice and I should be going with Null Hunter. And whew, really bad pack for me. Again, if I was in like blue-black or if I was in white, this would be nice. Honestly, I think I'm going to take this Devoted Paladin because if I am in white, then, or if I am splashing, then it's not the worst card to splash for. It would actually be really good in most red-green decks, and I don't really want to play Dueling Rapier. I think I would prefer to play Boots of Speed. Alright, well that's a gift. I guess nobody is playing exactly red-green, but definitely somebody near me is playing red, and definitely somebody near me is playing green. But I will very, very happily eat up this Targnar, and hope that I get 1 or 2 more 2-drops. Okay, I mean, I could take Prosperous Innkeeper, but it's not really the 2-drop for this deck. I don't think that I want You Happen Upon a Glade either. I want to be more aggressive than that. I'm going to take Spoils of the Hunt. I love Spoils of the Hunt, and it's a nice removal spell, and my deck needs removal, so that's great. Okay, so this is not my original pack, but I definitely have seen all these cards in a pack before. It's a decent pack for me. So Worm is gigantic. I think I want Prowler or Bard here. I'm gonna go ahead and grab Prowler. It sort of doubles as a 5. Oh, what is this pack? This deck is just overdrafted at this table, and it was a mistake to be in this color combination. But Prowler doubles as a 5-drop. Which is really nice, so it sort of fills that part of the curve a little bit. And you can also just play it on 2. I'm not really interested in any of these cards for my deck. Alright, I will play the Sylvan Shepherd. There's no chance that I actually do table the Knoll Hunter, which is pretty sad, but fair. Alright, I mean, this deck isn't good. Oh my god, I tabled the Knoll Hunter. Well, I take that back. Now, I'm as silly as it sounds, 1 more 2-drop is really where I want it to be for this deck. So that actually makes me feel much more comfortable with it. In the end, I think that I'm a little short on top end, especially for how many Plundering Barbarians I have. So, I mean, the play pattern with this card is that you can play it on 3 and then ramp out a 5-drop. To the point where I really am considering playing this Devoted Paladin. I think I'm going to try it out. It's, again, splashing in this kind of deck is really not what you want to be doing. I think I'm just going to play the 1 plains here. And, let's see, what is that, 15, 16, 17 lands? Yeah, I think that'll do well. So I have Improvised Weapon and 3 Plundering Barbarians to ramp out a 5-drop so I can get Devoted Paladin. It seems kind of silly to find a Cursed Idol, but I don't really want to play that card in this deck. It just doesn't work with the style of deck that I have. And then I only have 14 creatures. It's really 15 because Morningstar is a creature. So I'm probably going to either cut one of the boots or you come to the Null Camp. Yeah, that's what I'll cut. I don't want to just cut another creature, even though I have 3, 4, 5 is not so many. All right, I'll cut you come to the Knoll Camp, and I'll try out the double Boots of Speed. So, all right, I think that we ended up in a pretty decent spot here. So, couple of Boots of Speed, you don't really need 2. Actually, maybe that's the answer, because if I draw it in multiples, then I really am going to be very sad. It's just not going to do anything for my deck to draw 2. I want 1 in most games, but if you draw 2, they're basically dead. So anyway, I still have 2 equipment for the Armory Veteran, and it's not like my entire plan is around making Armory Veteran have Menace. It would be nice if it did, but it's not huge. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 2-drops now. 6.5 if you don't really count Morningstar as a full 2-drop. And I've got a couple of combat tricks here. I have some decent removal in Minimus Containment, Improvised Weaponry, Spoils of the Hunt, Hunter's Mark, and Fireball. So not great removal, but combined with my combat tricks, that's not bad. Inspiring Bard and Direwolf Prowler to help me get Surprise Pack Tactics, Owlbear as top end, and Devoted Paladin just as a finisher. Which is pretty nice to splash in this kind of deck, sort of at the top end. So I have 1 Plains and 1 Evolving Wilds. That's like sort of 2 constant sources of white. I've got 4 Treasure Makers. So I think that should be enough. But we'll see. This deck could play really awkwardly because I want to hit my 2-drops every game and I'm splashing, which is generally not the way you want to go with this sort of deck. But we'll see how it goes. I think that it could work out really nicely. So I was a little bit worried, and I don't think that my seat was open at the table to try and draft a red-green deck. But I think that I ended up putting together a pretty nice deck. Tabling that Null Hunter to go from 5 to 6 or 6 to 7 2-drops is really nice. Okay, so this is a pretty awkward hand in that I don't have white, and I have both my white cards, but I have my 2 main colors and I have 2-drops, and I'm on the play. So I'm just going to go ahead and play it out from here. Reaper's Talisman is really good, but if I draw my my good friend Plundering Barbarian after I draw another land, then I can 2-for-1 them on that. But Reaper's Talisman is a really powerful card, so definitely something to worry about. Okay. So I can go Morningstar or Armory Veteran. I think I'm going to go Armory Veteran. If I draw a Mountain next turn, then I could play Morningstar and equip the Veteran, which would be nice. But we'll see what happens here. Alright, so they just have a Precipitous Drop. It's kind of annoying. If they had a creature to block, then I could have gotten through it with the Pump Spell, but Precipitous Drop is a really nice one for them to have to get rid of my powerful creature and to get a Scry in and their first venture in. Alright, so we ended up hitting there, which is a nice little bonus if I don't have time to equip up the Armory Veteran, to just have this pre-equipped. Alright. So I think I'm going to wait until my turn to kill that, just to get the extra +1/+1 here. But I'm pretty sure that I just want to kill that. And I think I'd rather have the Armory Veteran equipped, and since I have to take this turn off anyway. Doesn't let me hold up You Come to the Null Camp, but I don't think that they're really planning on doing damage to me, so it's not really too relevant. Right, like, if they did have something to to deal with it, it was going to be a Precipitous Drop, so You Come to the Null Camp wouldn't save me from that anyway. Alright, so they've pretty successfully dealt with my creatures, which is bad for me. Are they also going to have a 3-drop to play here? Doesn't look like it. Okay, so No Hunter's not a bad draw. Gets me something to play out, to put on the board right here. I'm not that close to Pack Tactics. Oh, okay. So hopefully they roll low. Yeah, alright, that's good. But if I do draw just straight up the plains, then I can play Devoted Paladin and Pack Tactics. Interesting, they went with Iron Golem here. Not really sure why they would play that card in this deck, but that's fine. So I could just attack with this and get in for, and trade off my Goblin token and get in, but I don't think that's really worth it. I think I'm just going to improvise weaponry their Scion here, and then that'll generate me a plane, so then next turn I can containment them. They might just end up equipping and attacking with the Golem. which would be pretty good for them, but in that case I could instead go with Containment, or I could still just go with Devoted Paladin. If I go with Devoted Paladin, I still get to attack in with Pack Tactics, and then I'm hitting for 4 with this and 3 with this, so either of them would trade off for the Golem, and then it's sort of unequipped, so that sounds pretty nice, actually. I'm probably going to trade with the Null Hunter, so then I'll be left with a 4/4 and a 2/1 on board. I'm going to be at, what is that, 13 life? We're actually both going to be at 13 life. Oh, okay, so they're not actually doing that. Okay, they're just going to give one of my creatures -4, -0. This is actually still good for me. So right, they have to attack here, which is fine. They get in for 5. But now my Goblin is just going to trade off for their Iron Golem here. Okay, so unfortunately I'm drawing Forest, so I can't play Null Camp and Morningstar in the same turn. But it is important to note that they're at 11 here, and I have Null Camp to make 2 creatures not block. Alright, so they could equip up the Displacer Beast and just attack in, and then I would have to decide if okay, they didn't do that. They still have 4 mana. And I drew a Plains, which is actually really nice here. So I'm sure their plan right now is to just double block the Paladin, and then if it goes through, it goes through, and if it doesn't go through, then they can just bounce their Displacer Beast. Like, so if I play Null Camp, probably doesn't make sense for me to attack them this turn. I guess I can just equip up the Null Hunter and attack with both. That's not great either, though. Whew, this is a tough turn. I really don't know what to do here. I might just play, or just equip and pass, even. So that I can next turn have Null Camp. You know what? I think I might just attack. Like, the problem is I would love to just get Displacer Beast with this, and then they return it to their hand. It's so bad, though. I guess I could just minimus this. Alright. So I'm minimising this. Oh, okay, they have Deadly Dispute here. Alright, so that makes me feel a little bit better. No matter what I was going to hit, it didn't, it wasn't going to go through with that. And now I'm just going to shift the turn back because they were smart and gave it -1/-1. So now the Displacer Beast was going to be able to trade. Alright, so that turn was not great for me. I'm not sure if I should have played around it in a different way or just held on to my spell. Ooh. That is rough. Okay, so they're just going to basically nuke everything. I have 6 mana here, which is not 7, in case that wasn't obvious. So I think I just want to move this over, right? because I'm not playing anything this turn. Let's see, I can hit them for 5, 8. I mean, if they don't block, then they're dead, but they're going to block because that thing's going to die anyway. So if I just attack with these two, then they just block here and take 5. If I move it over, then they just block here and take 4. So I think it's better this way. So I've got trample, so we get 5 here. We go down to 3, and yeah, that. I mean, it's too bad that I didn't have 1 extra mana there, because then I would be able to have just pumped whatever was unblocked and given this haste. But I'm at 6 mana, so I wasn't quite able to do that. Oh, it only kills creatures, so they don't get rid, or they don't lose the talisman or the warlock class. And I don't lose the Morningstar. So I'm really hoping to draw a land here. Okay. That's actually pretty good. So I'm just going to go ahead and play my things out, and then now I have a really nice board. If they didn't top deck a removal spell. And I can't, if I don't draw, even if I don't draw a mountain, I can still plus this, and then I can't imagine how they would deal with this situation profitably. Right? So they have so I'll be able to make this a 4/4. I'll get in with an extra 1 for the goblins. I could even just prevent blocking. Oh, they are going to attack me and go up to 7 here. It's fine. Alright, well I drew the wrong kind of land here. I needed to draw a mountain. It's very annoying because I have a lot of things that I want to do with red mana, but not that much that I want to do with green mana. Alright, so I am just going to start by pumping and seeing if they play like Scion to tap my guy. I think I'm just going to go for lethal here, right? I mean, I don't think it pays to play around something, considering they, well, it definitely did stop. Maybe it does pay to play around something. Alright. I'm not close to dying. Even if they activate this, let's see, that's going to be 4 damage, 8 damage if you double it. Alright, so their plan right here is to throw the Shambling Ghast at the Goblin. So I think I just play Null Camp here to actually kill the Horde Robber. Even though I know they still could have something, but I don't think I did this right. They're going to be able to still just kill the Goblin here. But I should be able to kill them next turn. Ray of Frost. So after I had attacked, I would have been able to win. And now I actually am going to lose. Shoot. I would have just been able to falter them. Why didn't they Ray of Frost my Battlecry Goblin? That's insane. Oh man, I should have just gone for the win. I knew they had something, but it just turned out to not be a thing that mattered. So now I need to draw like Bull Strength. I think that's probably my only out here. Yeah, and they got to 7 mana, so Warlock class is going to do its thing. Alright, actually, that gains me some life here. Oh, or I could just play it out, and then they can't activate that and pump the Guild Thief. This only triggers at their turn. So what I can do here is I can pump the Battlecry Goblin to be a 4/4, charge in as a 5/4, and then they now have to top deck something, right? Because they can only hit me down to 1. Oh no, but then a creature will have died. Wait, no, I'll block, sorry. I'll block, so they'll only hit me down to... Yeah, alright, I think this is going to work. Right, so if they just don't block and they attack me with both, then yeah, I'm still okay. Right, even if they double damage and something dies. Oh, I don't think this is gonna work. So right, so they're gonna double damage. I should have just waited. I should have just held back with this thing. They're gonna double damage and then hit me for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Unless they drew something, which would be devastating. This is a wild first game. I definitely could have won a couple of times. Not sure if I played it right. I could have just gained 3 life last turn. Alright, well. Okay, so they made it unblockable. And they just played a land. So all I have to do is equip here. Or do I even need to? Right now I'm getting in for 3, 4, 5 with the goblin. Right, because I have... Yeah, so I'm getting in for 5 with the goblin. With the goblins. Like, I'll just pump the goblins. And they have to let a 3-power creature through and a 2-power creature through. I think they might have had lethal. Alright, so they could double damage. I'm going to go back to the battlefield if that's a thing. Be a battlefield. Alright, so they could have double damage. Or so at the beginning of your end step, if a creature died this turn, each opponent loses 1 life. And then the last one says at the beginning of your end step, each opponent loses life equal to the life they lost this turn. So I don't know which one of those triggers first, or if the 1 life counts in the I think it probably does. So I'm going to say it does. So no matter what, I have this 3/3 back to block a 3/3 and a 1/1. So a creature's going to die this turn. So that's 2 life. So now I'm down to 6. Reaper's Talisman gets in for 4. So it gets in for 2, but that's doubled. So now I'm down to 2 life. And then the Shambling Gas gets in for the last one, which is double, and gets me down to 0. So I left myself dead on board, but then they decided not to take advantage. They just charged in with the Guilt Thief and left themselves dead on board instead. So did either of us deserve to win that game? No, absolutely not. Regarding my decision to not go for the win and then still play my combat trick that turn, I think that was really dumb. I think I should have just played the combat trick, tried to win. If they had something, so be it, and then gone for the next turn. So I think we probably both had pretty good chances to win that game and did not take it until I got very lucky at the end, and then I guess I at least saw that I could win the game. I'm in Platinum 1, so it's not like neither of us should be this bad. But apparently we both are. All right, this is a very, very nice hand. I have both colors. I have 2 drops and 3 drops and removal, and I have a nice top end if I can get to 5 at some point. So I never drew a Plundering Barbarian last game to get rid of their talisman, which would have been pretty nice. I don't know. That was an interesting game. I also could have killed the Guild Thief a lot earlier. There were definitely outs for either of us to have turned that game around pretty substantially. Alright, so we're also playing against a green-red deck. I'm going to go ahead and play Targnar here. If they just play a 2-power creature next turn, then I could kill it with spoils and just attack in. Yeah, I mean, that is exactly what happened. I could also just play Sylvan Shepherd, which is probably a better move here. Hold my removal spell until I can get in with Pack Tactics, or just get in for more damage or something. Plus, on this board, Sylvan Shepherd is just going to be able to attack next turn if they don't draw anything. And also, if I draw a land, then Hunter's Mark can sort of 2-for-1 them, because it is an instant, and it gives +1/+1. So I can attack in with Targnar, they can play like an X3, I can kill the Barbarian in combat, and kill the other creature with Hunter's Mark. So if they play like a 2-3 here, or sorry, if they play like a 3-3 here, that would actually be the ideal situation, because I could attack him with both. They're going to say, oh, well, I'm not going to get blown out on both of these blocks. I'll just block here, and then they have to have 2 combat tricks. Alright, so they have a combat trick. And then I would be able to blow them out with Hunter's Mark. But they decided to attack me, even though I have a much bigger board right now. I think that they were probably thinking I would block with the Shepherd, and they were going to get to go with some sort of combat trick, but I am not interested in taking that situation. Like, maybe they have Hunter's Mark here, and they were going to do the exact same thing. They were going to give the Barbarian +1/+1 to kill my Shepherd, and they were still going to be able to kill Targnar. So I was not interested in doing that. Hopefully they messed up here and are going to try and use a removal spell now. I also could have pumped Targnar before, but I have too many good things to do with my mana, so I didn't just want to get in for an extra few bits of damage. I just am so tempted to pass the turn and not play the Morning Star, but yeah, that's what I'm going to do. At the end of the turn, I'm going to be able to play something. This turn, now I'm going to be able to block the Plundering Barbarian without having to worry, because I'll have Hunter's Mark up. All right. What kind of trickery do you have here? Nothing. All right. So I mean, it could just be like a improvised weaponry, but that would be really bad. Ah, magic missile. Well, I don't really think that you thought this through. Because I could just pump Targnar here. Alright, that worked out fine. I drew another one, but I really shouldn't play it. Because that would legend roll myself. And I think regardless here, I'm just gonna... Well... Alright, so now I did hit it. I don't have anything else to do with my mana. Yeah, I'm gonna move it over. It's better to have it on Targnar anyway, because if he... Do they have a Dragon's Fire here too? I guess I shouldn't have played it in case they had a Dragon's Fire, and then I would want to play Targnar post-combat. But doubling power and toughness, if it's a 3-2, is much better than if it's a 2-2. I guess it's a little better. It's not much better. It's nice. Alright. So, opponent's still got plenty of cards in hand. They've got plenty of mana. I also have plenty of cards in hand. I do not have as much mana. They're going to be up to 6 next turn. Oh, okay, so they just had another magic missile in the end here. And unfortunately for me, I am not able to play my Owlbear here because I don't have double green. So it is definitely... I mean, I guess not really. I was going to say part of the reason why I'm having so many mana issues is because of the fact that I'm not playing 3 colors, but I think that's not really the answer here. Alright, so Hill Giant or Herd Gorger is big dude. I mean, I'm just going to attack into it, because if they... I'm not going to block with this. Well, maybe... No, I'm not going to block with this because I'm going to play Owlbear. So this is just basically a free 3 damage here. And if they block, then I will double. But I'm not expecting them to block here. And I do need to... If I draw one more land, then I can double... Oh, actually, I don't even... Oh, no, I do need to still. I can double Targnar's... Okay, so I did draw the land. That's good. So next turn I can double Targnar and play the land and spoils to kill the Herd Gorger. I mean, or I can just basically kill them, right? What? How much damage is this going to be? I'm going to be hitting them for 5 trample. This thing is going to be 7. So that's 12. So not quite there. Unless they play a blue creature and I can Hunter's Mark and double. Alright, Spiked Pit Trap is a big problem here. They're probably just going to do it on their turn. Okay, so they're actually killing Owlbear, though, which works out for me. I don't have Lethal here, right? So, like, Bull's Strength to give it 5. Double it to give it... No, I'm one short here. I'm 1 mana short. Or 1 damage short, because if I was able to Bull's Strength to get it to 6, give it the +1/+0 from attacking, and then double it. Now, either way, it's not quite there. So, double, right? So I've get... Yeah, okay. Alright. And this should get the hill giant, unless they have something. Alright, squad, I am back, and I won the previous game, but my computer just straight up shut down in the middle of the game. So I was kind of worried that I actually wasn't going to make it back in time, but fortunately was able to. I'm going to keep this hand, and I'm going to go ahead and just grab up Plains. With my Evolving Wilds, do have a Plundering Barbarian, But the reason why it's a decision is because some of my cards, like Battlecry Goblin and Faraday's Fireball, do need multiple reds. So it kind of is a decision on if I want to go get a second red or if I want to get the plains. But I think it's just a little bit safer to do it this way. Alright. Battlecry Goblin here. I probably just don't want to mess around with this. I just want to kill the goblin here. I guess I could have just offered it to trade first, but I don't really think that would have worked. Alright, and next turn I can go Barbarian into Targnar, or I can go, I can play a combat trick into Targnar. Oh wow. A lot of damage. Alright. I think I will just go ahead and play a couple of creatures here. My opponent is trying to out-aggro me, even though I'm on the play, and I'm playing 2-drop, 3-drop. I mean, this is even better than a 4-drop, but we'll see how it works out for him. They have a removal spell here that could be problematic. But if they don't have a removal spell here, they're going to be pretty sad. Alright, so they had a removal spell. And now, this is where you come to the Null Camp is actually just a really bad combat trick. Because I can't get through the Bugbear without losing my creature. And if it was a +2/+2, then I would be fine here, and I would just be able to continue attacking, trade off, but now I have to stop attacking, and my opponent's got a full grip of cards. Somehow? Like, how does my opponent have so many more cards than me? Yeah, improvised weaponry was a good one. But they need a removal spell there, and if they didn't have one on that turn, then Targnar was going to take over. So, that's fair. Sometimes that just happens that way. Alright, they got a Displacer Beast. I don't know what it is about this card. I'm obsessed with it. I love playing blue in this format, even though a lot of people don't. It's probably the most underdrafted color. And it does exactly what I want to be doing. And I have not drafted it a single time. I don't know if I just have a straight up blind spot for this card and can't find it in my packs, or if I just never see it when I'm in blue. But I really have not gotten a chance to play with that card yet. Alright, well. My deck is not flood-proof. It doesn't have like a lot of creatures with big activated abilities, so it's a lot more aggressive than that. I mean, it does have some nice things, like if I can draw the Paladin, then that would be really nice. I can get in for a lot of damage. But this is definitely a problem right here. Alright, so no attacks from the opponent here. I mean, that's nice, but it's not really going to help me get through, I guess. I mean, I could just play both of them, and if they try and block with the Rust Monster, just use 2 combat tricks to get through it, but that doesn't really seem worth it. So I'm just going to pass and wait until there's a board state that I have a better shot of getting through before I use my combat tricks. Or like if I can draw. Yeah, I'm just gonna let that through. If I can draw a Paladin, that would be really nice. I think like the Bard would probably be a pretty good one here too. Oof, scary. Barbarian's not really what I want us to see, but I will send in this Barbarian. Probably not going to get blocked, or just trade off with the Displacer Beast or something. Or they're just going to single block with the Bugbear and I'll be able to trade? Yeah, okay. So, as silly as it sounds, getting rid of this treasure is pretty big here, because it means that I can double block the rust monster, and then I actually will be able to potentially get them with bull strength, and if they have a combat trick or something. Okay. That's a big creature. And they get to roll a die. And I lose land and they get to draw a card. Alright, I'm just going to... go for a couple of blocks here. I'll lose the Armory Veteran and I lose the Pump Spell, but I needed to get through somehow. And I needed to not take so much damage here. I definitely needed to not draw land there. Alright, so I'll probably lose this one. But this was just not my game. I mean, definitely flooded out. I drew what, like 1, 2, 3, 4 spells to 8, 4, 5, 6, 7 spells to 9 lands. I mean, it's not like crazy miscarriage of justice, but it just is not likely to result in a game that I win. Alright, so what can I draw to actually win from here? See, that's 9, 12, and I'm at 12, so I have to block. It really does not matter what I block. Right? Because it's not like I can survive with Null Camp. And I think that cuts any of my outs down. If I could have gone to 1, then I definitely would have there. Alright, well, land's not going to cut it. Alright, so we lost that one. Definitely didn't draw the right mix of cards in order to win, and they had the removal spell at the right time. I mean, if I was able to play Targnar and back it up with a couple of pump spells, then that could have been a much different game. So, well played by the opponent. They didn't give me enough time to turn it around, and they made the right decision to start playing defensively rather than attacking me, and I think that was the right move. They started by attacking with the Bugbear, and then they kind of realized, hey, I'm going to win this game if I can just slow it down. And that's what they did. So maybe not all the players at Platinum... Whoa, I almost threw my water glass on the ground. Maybe not all the players at Platinum are going to just pass and throw away the game left and right every other turn. Just some. Not that I'm saying Platinum is that hard to reach or anything like that. Alright, this hand is pretty meh, but I'm not going to pass up a hand where I have removal and a 2-drop on the play. But I need to draw a forest for Owlbear, and I would like to draw more creatures. But at least I have almost all the lands that I need to cast this. I mean, this card is essentially unbeatable, but whatever. I think the only real way to beat this card is to just tempo them out, which I might be able to do this game. It's certainly a possibility here. Okay, that was actually a good draw. Hopefully they'll block. Oh, okay. I accept. I don't know if people just don't read this card, or that was their plan and they just wanted to chump 4 damage and take my turn. I have no idea, but no problem with this situation. Alright, so here I actually think Yeah, I'm gonna play Hunter's Mark and... Or, no, not even Hunter's Mark. I'm just going to attack, and if they want to chump again, then I'll give them that option. And if not, then I will... Okay. So this time I'm going to Hunter's Mark, and then play Boots of Speed. Right? Yeah. Problem is that it leaves Targnar undefended, so I might not even want to attack in with it, but I'm just getting in for so much damage that it's gotta be worth it. Right? So, other options here is I could play Inspiring Bard, haste it up, attack for a bunch, but then this just trades for that. So I think my plan here is just going to be Owlbear and attack with... shoot. No, I'm not going to actually attack with Owlbear, am I? Because it just trades for the Ranger. Okay. Yeah, Ranger was a really good one here. But next turn I can Inspiring Bard Owlbear. And then get in with Owlbear and Bard. Oh my goodness, all the rares. Okay. That's 7 mana. So next turn I will have 8 mana, so Targnar can double. I don't really think there's much reason to go in with the Bard, so I'm just going to send in with Owlbear here. And they'll have to double block with those two if they want to get through it. Or if they want to actually kill it. And then that puts them way behind on board. Because they can't just block with a 4/3 pup and a Ranger's Hawk. That would not get the job done. So they'll have to lose both of them. They'll still take 3 damage, and then I can equip Boots here, and then next turn I'll have 8 mana for Targnar. So if they don't have a removal spell, then they're just gonna be like, this is gonna be a 9/8 or no, a 10/8, right? Or even more. So it's gonna end up being a 4/2, and then that's doubled and doubled again. So it's gonna be a 16/8. Or I need it. Like, okay, so I give it Boots of Speed. Right, so I give it Boots of Speed and then attack with both. And then, or maybe I don't even need to bother making it so big. I just give Boots of Speed here, because this thing is going to be essentially lethal on its own. It's going to be 3, 6, 12. Yeah. So I'll just give Boots of Speed here. They decided not to make the Dancing Sword a creature. It's just interesting. Alright, I mean, I suppose now the Ranger's Hawk will be able to trade for the Bard. Oh, or it's just going to kill it. And they can do that, but then they're just dead on board. That's actually really nice. So all I need to do is pump this once in order to make it not be able to trade with the Ranger's Hawk. So I can play my Armory Veteran here. And then I think I just pumped before so that I can get in for 4 damage. I mean, yeah. So this is going to hit them for 9, and they can only chump. They can't even block this and trade. So they probably shouldn't have chumped there. I don't know. Maybe they should have. Or maybe they just didn't have the mana to turn this into a creature last turn. I can't remember if they had tapped out. Alright, Herd Gorger is actually good for them here. I don't think Fireball does what I want it to. But so if I double pump this, then it gets up to 8. So they can double block it, but then they still have to deal with this. So I'm going to pump once before attacking. And then I'll pump again after I attack. I mean, I guess they could just double block. Okay. That's fine with me. Don't have trample this time, so can't quite get in for even more than that. But I still have Boots of Speed, and I guess they have Ranger class. Oh, and Direwolf. Prowler should do the trick here. But you guys can see how Boots of Speed was extremely impressive in that game. Drew Armory Veteran, and it only cost 1 mana, so I was still able to use Targnar's ability to double its power and toughness because Boots of Speed was so cheap. And even if the Owlbear play didn't work out exactly as I had planned, if they hadn't played pretty much exactly that thing, then it would have worked out really nicely the turn before. So that was an interesting game. I don't really know what they were doing at the beginning where they were just chumping with the Unicorn, but I guess they were just fine if I spent my turn playing a removal spell on the Unicorn. But I didn't have to play the removal spell, so I still had the removal in my hand. I don't know. Whatever. Maybe they just made a mistake and they didn't realize that how the ability worked. Maybe they thought it only doubled the power instead of the power and the toughness or something weird like that. But regardless, I'm okay with it. If I really had dropped this glass and it shattered, that would have been a second interruption to this stream and potentially a sign that I shouldn't be making videos. But regardless, we are on our way into the next match at 3-1. Oh, we're not. Okay, there we go. The notation down there changes when you get into a match, so I thought that we were ready to go. Looks like we're playing against a legend here, or a mythic, whatever they call it in this game. So probably going to be pretty high quality opponent here. Opponent goes first, but I still have 2-drop, 3-drop, 4-drop, essentially, since I can just use Barbarian to make a treasure. So this should be a nice game regardless, but definitely my opponent could go on the aggressive side and make it difficult for me. But I'm drawing pretty well so far. I'll have the 4th land so that I can cast Owlbear on 4. Prowler means that I'll have a creature to play, so they're going to be able to actually equip up and get in and start horde robbing me, but I'll start getting in and dealing damage to them, so it works out either way. And ooh, interesting. So they did not attack. So I could just Plundering Barbarian, and instead of ramping out the Owlbear, I can just kill the Thieves' Tools, which is probably the right move, right? So, I mean, my other options... Yeah, I think I like this. I think I like this best. Especially because they have Horde Robber, so they might be playing like Yuan-Ti Fangblade or something like that, so they might just really have a lot of options for getting in. So it looks like they're red-black, not red-green. Or black-blue, which is kind of what I was thinking they were. Alright, so Clattering Skeletons is kind of annoying, but once I have enough damage to get in with Pack Tactics, all of my things are going to be strong enough to get through that. Plus, I'll also even be able to Hunter's Mark. I mean, I could have Hunter's Marked this past turn and gotten in, but I don't think that would have been worth it. Alright, so they've got Grim Bounty to take out my Targnar, which kind of sucks, but that's fine. Okay, improvised weaponry is an interesting draw. So I've got a couple of options here. I have 4 mana. This costs 2. This costs 3 -1. So I mean, I could kill Sepulchre Ghoul here. I could Hunter's Mark pre-combat and attack, but I'm kind of trying to go for a blowout here. So I think I'm just going to attack with these two, and if they make any sort of block, then I'll Hunter's Mark the skeletons. Alright, so I think that the play here is to... maybe I didn't think this through. So if I use Hunter's... Okay, so I can maybe not kill the skeletons, but if I Hunter's Mark the Barbarian... No, if I Hunter's Mark the Barbarian to kill the Sepulchre Ghoul, then I use Hunter's Mark and I get rid of these two. But the problem is if I Hunter's Mark this... Well, I guess if I Hunter's Mark this and kill this, then yeah, that works out better, I think. Doesn't work out nearly as well as if I had Pack Tactics, and this would have had 3 power, but whatever. Essentially, they're going to be completely empty on their board, and I'm still going to have the... Oh, that was silly. Of course they could just sacrifice the skeleton. I was thinking they would have to sacrifice the Horde Robber, but that's not the case. So, this worked out much worse than when I thought they weren't going to have a Sepulchre Ghoul, but in the end I think it still worked out okay. It's fine, I don't really mind too much for them getting another treasure. Hopefully they don't have like Black Dragon or something. Okay, they have Red Dragon, but they're going to have that regardless. And that is now a lot of damage. Alright, well, I think it's pretty easy for me to just charge in with the Barbarian. It's very unlikely that they block, but if they do, then I get a free 2 damage. Or if they don't, then I get a free 2 damage. And I think that I'm just going to go ahead and play Battlecry Goblin and equip up. And, I mean, with Battlecry Goblin and Pack Tactics, that's a lot of damage. Alright, so I drew my next land, but I really am close to dying, which is kind of the problem here. So I can attack with everything, but then they'll probably just not block and kill me next turn. So I should probably not do that. I think I'm going to improvised weaponry that, attack with everything, play Direwolf Prowler, right? Depending on what they block here, I might kill Horde Robber instead of playing Direwolf Prowler. Okay. If they block there, then I will not pump. Alright, well, I never ended up getting to play Owlbear because I killed their Thieves' Tools instead of making a treasure. Wonder how this game would have played out if I had done it the other way. Ugh. Alright. Well, that roughly destroys any of my hopes for winning this game. I need to draw a removal spell for Red Dragon this turn. Hey, that's a removal spell for Red Dragon. Okay. The problem is that I can't attack because if I... Well, I guess I can attack with the Direwolf Prowler. They probably won't block. But I could go to 1, and then they just have any removal spell, and I'm dead. I think it's probably worth playing around a removal spell because I need a chunk in for some damage here. Well, no. I want to attack first. Okay, hopefully I get the 55%er and roll a 10, but oh, not a 9. Down to 1. They've got 1 power on board. This is as scary as it gets. And they drew a removal spell. They drew a Precipitous Drop. Oh, man. I guess Precipitous Drop would have killed me, even if I held back, because they could just... Oh, no, they're already in the Lost Mine of Phandelver, so they couldn't go into the other thing. Was it worth it? That's a tough one. That is a rough one to lose, but I mean, the opponent played well. I drew the fireball just a turn too late, and I made the decision to get in and hope that they bricked on for 1 turn. I mean, there were plenty of removal spells that would have, well, not plenty of removal spells, but there were plenty of cards that would have killed me either way, even if I didn't draw, or even if I held back. And I wanted to try and shorten their clock by a turn, but maybe that was a mistake. I mean, like, what if they just drew improvised weaponry? That just kills me on the spot. And if not attacking and getting in for those 2 damage mattered in a couple of turns, which it very well could have, then that could have been the game. It could have been a game-winning play the other way. I don't really know which was right there, but I think that being too conservative is kind of a mistake in that situation. But regardless, that was a close game. I don't love this hand for me. I do have 2 draws to hit a 2-drop, though, and if I get a 2-drop, then I'm much happier. A 2-drop creature. I don't know why I'm not specific, and then I just asked for a 2-drop, and the deck's like, alright, here's Bull Strength. You knew what I wanted, man. You knew what I wanted. Alright. What do I want to get with that? Do I want the... No. I think I just want... I guess I just want the plains. I mean, I just want the mountain. If I draw a white card, then I'll have treasures to get there. Alright, so Triumphant Adventurer, the card that I passed originally, is a First Strike Death Touch, and every time they attack, they get to venture. So they're going to get 2 ventures off of it before I can actually kill it, which is pretty rough, but that's kind of just how it goes. This kind of card, it's a rare. If you draw, and it's really good if you draw it on 2, and they drew it on 2, so... Alright, so I didn't actually need the mountain, but if I draw Battlecry Goblin, I'll be happy in the future. And if I draw a different card, then I'll still have the treasure tokens from the Barbarians. So, we'll see what they've got here. Maybe they have some sort of rule spell? No, they just had nothing to play on 3. So, that's pretty good for me. I did need a little bit of time to get set up here, and it looks like I'll have it. The good thing about this card is it's only got 1 power, so if I really want, I could just, I drew the plains anyway. If I really want, I could just play my other Barbarian and double block it next turn, so it's not really a big deal from that perspective. I'm going to go ahead and play a Forest here, and I'll attack. Right? Yeah. Maybe they'll block. Maybe they'll give me a gift and block. No. Okay. So, question is, do I want to... How do I want to kill it? Do I want to spoils it? No, I think I just want to fireball it because that's a lot more mana efficient. Yeah, because I need to use the treasure to spoils it anyway, so. Alright, we go to damage. I'm just going to do it on my turn. So that they don't have the ability to do some sort of combat trick to save their creature. Alright, of course we both lose damage, but that's fine. What's really sad is if I had won the die roll last game, that I would have been able to play another turn. But that's part of what makes the game fun. Alright, so they decided to drain me for one. Hey, see, exactly what we wanted to see, Battlecry Goblin here. I think I do want to wait one more turn, though. All right. Guess I didn't really need to do this. Yeah, that's a problem. All right. Well, we're just gonna go ahead and kill this. The real problem here is that now I'm not going to be able to trigger pack tactics with Battlecry Goblin. But that was a little bit of an aggressive attack. It did get that out of their hands, so now Battlecry Goblin's going to be much better when I do get to play it. I'm going to go ahead and go with Owlbear first, though. Going Barbarian Tribal here. I mean, I could just... So I've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. So I could play this for 2, and then pump it 3 times. No, that's not enough. Alright. So in the end, I think I'm just going to play this and both my Barbarians. Play this and 1 Barbarian? No, both my Barbarians. One Barbarian. In case they draw an equipment. No, if they had one, they would have played it, so. Yeah. Alright. It's too bad that these aren't Goblin Barbarians, because that would have been very nice. Alright, so it does look like we're going to have to slow down here, because I don't... Oh, okay, I'll block. Well, that's a good draw. Thanks, Targnar. Thanks for showing up, buddy. You're also not a goblin, though. And next turn, my attack is going to be utterly ridiculous. Alright, Priest of Ancient Lore. I do have to worry about just getting attacked back for lethal. I just don't think that that's going to happen. They have to chump Targnar. Yeah, I'll trade. I don't want to die, and Plundering Barbarian is not the thing that I need. And I would much rather get through a combat trick here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 mana here. So I can double pump this and pump my Battlecry Goblin. No! Targnar, come back! I miss you already. Okay. Well, that's a lot sadder, and that's a lot happier. Alright, what am I doing here? I don't need any of this non-red mana. Alright, Battlecry Goblin, let's see what you got here. Now they can't trade with it, and I'll have plenty to be able to pump. I'll probably... Oh wait, why didn't I pump? I didn't think that there was any chance that they wouldn't block, but I had them dead, right? I had 2, 3, 4 pumps, or 1, 2, 3 pumps, so I could have added 6 more damage. I guess they weren't dead, but I'm shocked that they did not chump, and I was not paying enough attention. Yikes, that was so bad. They'd be at 2 right now and just straight up dead, and instead they're going to be able to complete their dungeon, draw another card, and maybe get out of this. Where are all my oh no, I don't have anything to kill enchantments. I only have stuff to kill artifacts. Alright, well, I will attack. And hope that you draw nothing and bail me out of my stupidity. Alright, well that was a poorly played game. I didn't deserve it. Beholder Corpse, you deserve the win there, but that's why we play, I guess. To not be stupid and mess up with the interface. Like, there's no way that if I was sitting down across from somebody and playing Magic, they said, okay, go to damage, and I would be like, wait, I'm going to pump beforehand. Because I had no cards in hand. Obviously, I was going to pump. I was going to pump at least once. I was probably going to pump twice, though. But alright, well, managed to get above 3 wins, which is good. I think this deck is good enough to win 7. I don't think it's like, oh, this deck is incredible, it's gotta win 7 games, but it does a lot of what you want a green-red deck to do. The splash is iffy. It makes it a lot less consistent, but I do think it needed the power level there. Alright, well this is definition of a hand that is not keepable, but I haven't really had very many of those up until this point, so I gotta be happy with that. I'm gonna send back Direwolf Prowler here. All I need to do is just draw 1 land to be able to play Devoted Paladin, because I already have Plundering Barbarian, so I think that's fair. Okay, Plundering Barbarian has a new task. This task is to destroy the Black Staff of Waterdeep, which for some reason is seeing play. I am not sure why, but I don't want to find out. I'll take my 2 for 1, and I won't be upset about it. And I drew the 2 lands for the Paladin anyway, so it's just going to come down a turn later. Alright, so I don't think that I really want to mess around with that. I could try and block and then see if they have a combat trick, or like try and kill my barbarian or something like that. But I just want to make sure that the Soul Knife Spy actually dies. And just get in for a couple of damage here. So the problem is that I mulliganed, was on the play, and I'm drawing too many lands. So now my opponent's up to 5 cards, and this could be a problem. Because if they've got, and they left a card on top, so they definitely got whatever they needed, and I drew another land. So I think I actually have only drawn lands this game. Yeah. We'll see if we can win with 3 spells. Also, my game is really glitching out here. It's taking a long time from when I click something until it actually happens. I don't know if that's easy to see on your end, but see if they're attacking here. They're not. I'm drawing more lands. Okay, well, I guess I'm not attacking, because I don't want to trade Devoted Paladin for a 3/3, and they would block there. Or at least they should. But there's still a couple of cards that could get me out of this, I think. Targnar, maybe. With all the mana that I've got. Morningstar's fine. Don't really care that we won the die roll there. Wait, let me make sure. Cancel. What are you using to do this? Okay, that's fine. Alright, so now the Barbarian's going to be able to get in and trade with the 2/2 flyer, which I think is good for me. And yeah, Targnar with Trample is actually really nice. So, also, the fact that I still have Devoted Paladin here means that opponent isn't chunking in for a bunch of flying damage each turn, which is good for me. So, okay, that's why they weren't attacking me. We found it, team. I do think I attack here, though. Be nice to draw like Fireball next turn. Really is too bad that I didn't draw a combat trick, because I knew that they were going to block, but I just didn't really have anything that I could do about it. But yeah, I think I need to draw Fireball now. Actually, that might have been a really bad attack, because one of my outs to killing this thing is Hunter's Mark, and because I already played Spoils, and now I can't kill it with Hunter's Mark. Bouncing that there is very odd, but that's fine. Oh, because they just wanted to draw 3 cards. Never mind. Okay. I'm gonna choose gain 3 and pass the turn. Yeah, Imrith, you really have to have the right kind of draw to beat Imrith. There are definitely versions of this draw that won against that thing, but this is not one of them. And my opponent really built this deck well. I mean, and they played the game well. I mean, the idea of just, okay, I'm gonna block, because I know that I have this bomb. It's not an obvious play, but all right. Well, I think I've seen enough here. Not even close to killing them. No real way around it. I guess I could have just tried to get them to tap out or something like that, and then kill them with the top decked Targnar, but I think that the chances that they let me do that with all the cards that they've gone through in the last 2 turns, because they basically drew 3 cards each turn for 2 turns in a row, I don't think there's much chance of that happening. But anyway, that was a good set of games. I definitely played pretty poorly overall. I think I'm still not used to commentating and playing at the same time, and it's just a little bit hard, especially when I'm trying to do some of the math. But I'll get back into it and I'll get used to it. I think the deck was sweet. I would probably give it like a 7.5 out of 10. I think maybe I was a little bit heavy on the barbarians. Could have used like another 4-drop or another 5-drop. But I think it did what I wanted it to do for the most part, and it wasn't too inconsistent, I don't think. I agree with my decision to make the splash. I think if I took these two out, and then went with something like maybe the other Boots of Speed and the Compelled Duel, just as sort of like removal. I just think it's adding 2 cards that I don't really want to be adding to this deck. I don't think my deck really had a lot of trouble. This card is basically only good when you're attacking, right? So I don't think I had a lot of trouble in the games where I was attacking. The trouble came in the games where I was defending. So I guess this would have been a nice draw against Crazy Thing, Imrith. But yeah, I didn't have it there. So anyway, I think I was pretty happy with the deck. Definitely think it underperformed, or user error contributed to the losses there. But still a fun deck. Still hope you guys enjoyed, and sorry for the glitch in the middle there. Anyway, hope you all have a wonderful day. Bye.